There's a lot of pressure for the students here at K to perform at a really high academic level, and that drive and that push and that need to do things extremely well in all areas can influence whether or not we think of sleep as important. So if academics are privileged over, taking care of ourselves, then I think it's going to fall to the wayside more often.
Never really sacrifice a ton to sleep, and even if I do, I feel guilty about it.
You want to get your work done, but you also want to see your friends. It's hard to do all of those, and so sleep's got to go sometimes.
Students are often reporting that they're really tired.
And I usually get to bed
I usually go to bed at 1.
Maybe between midnight and 4-ish.
Maybe 6 or less.
Pretty much hanging out at the library until 1:45, 2 o'clock.
By 3, and then I just sleep forever.
It's really important to college students because if you don't get enough sleep, then you're not actually consolidating what you've learned during the day. In fact, sleep deprivation and the stress associated with not getting enough sleep can result in all kinds of learning and memory issues.
I have a lot of trouble missing my 8:30 now just because I love the professor, so I don't want to disappoint her. And so I make an effort, I set my alarm every 5 minutes from 7 to 8 o'clock so that I will get out of bed because it will not stop.
It's frequent.
And so, yeah. And it feels like I turn off my 7 o'clock and I feel like I just laid down and then my 7:05 is going off, and eventually by 7:40-ish I'm up.
We do a health survey, and I've been doing this in my classes for 7 or 8 years now. And there's a section on sleep, and consistently across all of the different student groups that I've given that assessment to, sleep comes up as a major issue within the college student population.
Everyone's tired, especially towards the end of the quarter.
3 or 4 hours.
About 10 hours, and weekdays between 3 and 7.
Maybe 6 or less.
I've been to 9 hours of sleep.
Figuring out how late I can possibly sleep in the morning.
Up at 9 or 9:30 and
And everybody's always like, I got 4 hours. Well, I got 3 hours.
good.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I was well rested.
Probably when I was maybe 6 or 7.
Because we go to such a studious school, and there's kind of a bit of a joke on campus where if you're not always tired, you're doing something wrong. You're not colleging correctly. I think that the 8-hour kind of idea that people put around sleep is not adequate. Every person needs varying amounts of sleep. It really depends on what you're doing with your day.
Different people have different rhythms, and that there can be some variation in it. But if we look to some of the whole medical traditions like Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, there's certain biological rhythms that move with the amount of light that we have going on, so that changes, of course, seasonally. And there's certain times of day when your digestion is stronger than others. And so when students are sleeping in till 11 and missing kind of that time in the morning when your metabolism is really strong, and you could be digesting, having breakfast and getting the benefits of that early morning eating and waking, then all kinds of other rhythms kind of get out of whack. If you take people and you deprive them of sleep over a long period of time, people can show high levels of depression and anxiety simply from sleep deprivation.
Sounds so depressing. But I'll definitely like be more prone to crying and being affected by things that might just slightly upset me normally.
Irritable. Irritable. I get really annoyed with everybody. Like, I'll be like, everyone, like, all my friends, everyone's so annoying today. And then I'm like, wait, it's just me. Like, everybody's normal. I'm just in a really bad mood and everything irritates me.
Yes.
You know. It's like a time machine to, like,
Better
breakfast.
to meals.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like when I finally finish, like, my homework or something and I've been working really hard, then sleep is, like, my reward. It's the best.
I use it to avoid things. Like sophomore year, if I was hungry but it wasn't a meal time, I'd take a nap and just like sleep off the hunger, which is not good, but I did it. And if I'm anxious, I'll sleep it off sometimes, or if I'm just too overwhelmed.
I do that
Or
too
bored.
sometimes.
Sleep. It is a time machine to something better. Sophomore year was like a rough time, and I wasn't on some meds that I'm on now, so I took a nap every day for like 3 hours, and I used to sleep in the clerestory, whatever that thingy up there, because they had blankets and stuff, or I'd sleep in the library. So I just went to places I knew lots of people weren't. Sleeping at friends' houses is okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like I've slept on her couch and in our friend Hunter's bed and on my friend Ani's couch. It's better if it's a place you know.
Mm-hmm. I can think of, like, I've never woken up somewhere unexpected before. Like, when I was young, like, really young, I would sometimes, like, wake up, like, on the stairs or, like, in my dog's bed.
Aww.
But that hasn't happened since I was, like, 5 or 6. Like, I just have general experience of, like, even sometimes when I wake up, like, in my own room, I'm like, where am I? What day is it?
What year is it?
Yeah.
It's like a love-hate relationship, though, honestly. I do love it, but that is worth missing the sleep that your mom
Obstacles.
They're
Like, I wouldn't do it if I didn't want to. I like this.
I honestly think it's because of the internet.
Yeah.
Like, I
stay up late on the internet all the time.
even if I'm tired and I'm in bed, I'm like, oh no, I have to play Disco Zoo. And then I'm like, be on Instagram. And I'm on Tumblr and I'm like, oh, I need to like fill up my queue.
Or like I'll start
shit.
talking to somebody on like Facebook and then all of a sudden it'll be like 2:30.
Yeah.
Or like.
And then I'll, like, you're comfy with your little phone. And you're like, oh, I've been meaning to look this up.
And
or,
you don't want to like
remember all these
miss life.
things.
When we talk about sleep is the role of computers and television. There's some really interesting research coming out right now that suggests that this blue light that is in our computer screens can actually disrupt our sleep cycle, and they think it's acting on melatonin, and so there's programs now that you can download onto your computer that'll take that blue light out so that it isn't having that effect of making you think that it's actually sunny out when it's 12 o'clock, midnight, 11 o'clock at night.
I would be able to fall asleep within like 15 minutes, and I would go to bed at like 11, because I would be a lot more well-rested and I wouldn't have like bags under my eyes.
Consensus around campus is that we all really like to sleep, but we simply don't have time to get adequate rest. I've met a couple of people recently that profess that they need to get 9 hours of sleep every night, and they actually try to do it, which I applaud them for. But in terms of practicality, like a lot of people don't see sleeping a lot as a practical thing that is going to happen.